Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Cowboys Daily, the home of one fan's thoughts, ideas, opinions, hopes and dreams, and a little bit of ranting and raving. I'm your host, Rome Sagisi, but you know what? Call me Rome. We got quite a bit to cover today, but before we do, I want to give a quick thanks to Fan Arch for putting this all together. Visit them at fanarch.com, and don't forget to subscribe at Cowboys Daily and at Fan Arch to get the latest on daily fan-driven sports media. You'll find podcasts, articles, videos, anything and everything to suit your sports fetish. All right, to kick things off, we are going to look at a cornerback out of Texas who has played football in Texas for his entire life. Malik Muhammad just recently had his draft 30 visit with the Cowboys. He's been on the Cowboys' radar for quite some time now. And insiders say that his visit went really well. It actually turned into an extended visit, meaning that they spent a little more time with each other, getting to know each other and getting to know how he would fit into the Cowboys' scheme, their defensive scheme. It shows very high interest from the team in his abilities and how he would come in and fill a role that I think is very needed right now. But what role would that be? I mean, he's played on the outside at Texas, and he excelled at it. He was really good at it. And the Cowboys noticed that, of course. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a scouting report of a former Cowboys player, a really good one, who I really miss sometimes. I'm going to read you his scouting report. And then I'm going to read you Malik Muhammad's scouting report, and then we'll compare. And then we'll compare after to see if Muhammad can come in and fill that exact same role and basically replace this player on the team. Here we go. So the first scouting report, again, is a former Cowboys player. And his report goes something like this. He excels from press and plays with confidence and edge. He's able to flip his hips and accelerate quickly, has lateral quickness and agility. He finds the ball with back to the quarterback as well as anyone in college, and maintains tight coverage downfield and waits for receivers' eyes to cue him in on when to turn and find the ball. Sounds like a good player, huh? And now Malik Muhammad's scouting report. He can man up from press or off and is a plus pattern matcher, staying in phase and shadowing the breakpoints of the receiver. He is fluid laterally and changes directions with no hitch. Maintains field vision on every level of coverage, and above average in reading and matching the route. That first player was Jordan Lewis, a really good nickel slot corner of the Dallas Cowboys, who I think is with the Jaguars now. But he really excelled in the role. The team had a lot of confidence in him to play that role. So if the Cowboys were to select Malik Muhammad, that is the type of role that I think he would fit in, that Christian Parker would look to have him fill. He played on the outside, like I said, but his traits, his strengths really look more to be the strengths of a slot corner, because being able to read the field, read the defenses, and being able to move quickly laterally and turn on a dime is something that a nickel corner could really use. I mean, when you think about DBs on the outside, of course, all those traits apply, but they tend to be isolated, man on man, one-on-one with the receiver, kind of away from the play. not necessarily needing to read the rest of the field. So this is where I think Malik Muhammad could come in and contribute to the team. Of course, coming out of college, he will definitely need work and will need to improve. But what better way to improve when you are going up against, in training camp and practices, arguably, actually no argument, without a doubt, the best wide receiver tandem in the league. And if you've been following social media lately, you probably have seen videos and photos of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens hanging out together. They were recently seen in a video singing karaoke in a car. And there are photos of them, the both of them, vacationing together in Turks and Caicos. I want to visit there one of these days. But yeah, vacationing together. And these images, these videos really are silencing any rumors that there might be diva issues at the start of the season in the Cowboys locker room. I mean, when you have two alpha receivers like Lamb and Pickens, that's almost always a recipe for disaster. They can be two very large egos going at it. But according to CeeDee Lamb, he describes their relationship as a brotherhood, calling Pickens his brother and really being amazed at his lack of ego when it comes to stats, and how the both of them are working together to achieve ultimately the ultimate goal of the team, and that's to win a championship. Aside from the stats, aside from who's getting the ball, and aside from who Dak is trusting more, and that's another thing. Who better to quell any arguments, any discussions, disagreements on who is getting the ball than the person getting them the ball? And Dak Prescott really is a leader of men. And when faced with a situation like this, Dak will have the final word. So I believe that, there's rumors, there will be rumors, and there may be occurrences, there may be times when the both of them have disagreements. But ultimately, I think them building their relationship in the offseason will show when it comes to game time, when it comes to them playing side by side, when it comes to Dak deciding who to throw the ball to. And of course, he's going to throw it to the open guy. And they will both understand that. But I can tell you one person who's happy seeing this budding friendship, budding brotherhood between the two receivers, and that's Jerry Jones. It kind of helps him to sleep at night, knowing that there's not going to be that diva requesting more money or requesting the ball and just throwing a wrench into his plans for the season. And speaking of Jerry Jones himself is in the news. So if you're not aware, the current collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and the NFL Referees Association, the NFLRA, is set to expire at the end of May. And discussions and negotiations right now are at a stalemate. There's no agreement between both factions on mainly three points. The first is the pay gap. So the NFL is proposing a 6.45% annual raise. But the NFLRA is arguing for closer to a 10% increase, which would be more in line with league profits and more comparable to the salaries of referees in the NBA and Major League Baseball. The second point of contention is the NFL wants to implement a performance-based compensation system. Right now, I think it's entirely based on seniority. the salaries, and also the game assignments. The longer you're in the league, you have your choice of which games you want to work, and of course this will play in the playoffs. But the league wants to change things a bit and turn it from a seniority-based system to a performance-based system where it involves after-game reviews of the referees. And like I mentioned earlier, it would involve additional training for the referees in the off-season. And then finally, the third point is the league wants the Referees Association to be more involved in the off-season. Right now, after the Super Bowl, from February to May, there's no real communication between the league and the referees, the NFLRA. And the league wants to change that. They want the referees to be more available during the offseason for things like training and rules reviews. And right now, I mean, I don't really see why. Well, I guess I see why, but this is a good thing. This can only be a good thing, because if they were not to come to an agreement by the deadline, there will be a lockout. The referees will lock out. And we all remember in 2012 when something similar happened, there was a referee lockout and the league brought in replacement referees. And it was a cluster. Remember the Fail Mary between the game between Seattle and Green Bay, when it was an apparent bad call by the referees that led to, I think, a loss on Seattle's part or Green Bay's part. I don't remember. I'll have to check on that. But yeah, but the league is looking ahead. And they started actually training replacement referees in the case that they missed the deadline. So the league's looking ahead. And so they'll be more ready this time. I mean, of course, it's still not going to be like the real thing, but at least it won't be as bad. And with Jerry Jones and other owners stepping in, the reason they're doing that is because in 2012, after all the bad calls, after the Fail Mary, after fans got tired of it, and basically NFL games were becoming unwatchable, attendance and viewership went way down. And the owners don't want that to happen again. So like I said, they're taking the steps to ensure that it's not as bad. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll come to that agreement at the end of May and things will be hunky-dory. And really, maybe except for the salary part, I think it'll all be good. And goes to show you how serious things are. Oh, and by the way, funny thought. I'm not sure if you're aware of the rumors that Jerry Jones is some type of shadow commissioner, that things get serious when Jerry Jones steps into the room. So we'll see what happens if Jerry's appearance, Jerry's presence, Jerry's mere presence changes things and they actually get things done. And finally, I want to finish off with our quarterback, Dak Prescott. In what could be a record-breaking year, actually, it will be a record-breaking year for him, because at the start of the 2026 season, Dak Prescott will only be 6 touchdowns away from passing Tony Romo's franchise record for passing touchdowns at 248. And he will do it. It's just a question of how soon. But the other thing to look at, too, is we all know that Dak's had a pretty rough offseason. He's had offseason and off the field personal struggles. His wedding, his marriage with Sarah Jane Ramos, which was actually supposed to happen last week, was called off due to allegations of infidelity and allegations of prenuptial disagreements, a lot of bad stuff. And what makes it worse is they do have 2 children together, and custody issues can always be a horrible thing to go through for both parents. But from what I hear, things are pretty mutual between the 2 of them when it comes to the children, and they only want to do what's best for them, which is great to hear. But the question now is, how will that affect Dak and this season? But we all know Dak's had a life. His entire life has been filled with adversity. With the death of his mother, the tragic and way too early death of his brother, his horrific season-ending ankle injury in 2020. And Dak came back from all of it much stronger. And, Coach Shoddy said it best. If there was one person to go through all this, that he could trust to go through all this and come out even better, it would be Dak Prescott. According to him, Dak's in a great place right now. And he's going to have to be to lead this team. But this leads me to my hot take of this episode. We know Dak will break the franchise passing touchdown record. But when? I predict Dak will break it in Game 2. That's right. Game 2. You do the math. But that when he does break that record, it'll lead to an interesting debate about who the top 3 quarterbacks are, Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks. We all know what 1 and 2 are. And the order can, you can change that if you want. But 1 and 2, Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman. And it's not going to be based on stats because Dak's stats kind of outdo them. It's, of course, based on postseason success and the Super Bowl, the playoffs. But when it comes to the 3rd place, will Dak breaking Tony Romo's record be enough to put him in 3rd place? And their careers have been uncannily similar. But we'll see what happens. We know Dak will break the record. But we'll see what happens after that, how Dak does for the rest of the season. And let me know in the comments what you think of that debate. Where do you put Dak? Where do you put Tony? And is Dak breaking Tony's record going to be enough to put him in 3rd place? But that's something for a future show. Till then, thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. Again, please don't forget to subscribe at Cowboys Daily and at Fan Arch to get the latest on daily fan-driven sports media. And I got one more thing to say. Actually, I'm not going to say it. Thanks for watching, everyone.